All right, good morning, everyone. It's 11 a.m. on Friday, October 13th. I want to thank everyone for being here. If those who are here could turn on their cameras and unmute, we'll get started shortly. Great, thank you so much. Before I call the case, let me just confirm with my court reporter that she's prepared to proceed. Harriet, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Perfect. Okay. Don't want to waste anyone's time, so let's go ahead and call proceeding number 23A-0394E as in Eric. This is the application of Public Service Company of Colorado for ECA Prudence review. I want to thank everybody for being here on such short notice for this pre-hearing conference. We are meeting today to discuss the possibility of finding extraordinary conditions that will permit an additional 130 days to be added to the statutory time period within which a commission decision needs to be issued. If I could go ahead and have appearances.
Good morning, Your Honor. On behalf of the applicant, Public Service Company of Colorado, my name is Chris Irby.
Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Irby. Okay, Mr. Dixon, you're next to Mr. Irby on my screen. Do you want to go next?
Yes, my name is Tom Dixon. I represent the utility consumer advocate, and also present with me on the call is Michelle Singer-Nelson. And Leslie Henry Sermos is a witness in our case, who is also present on the call.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dixon. And then present for staff?
Dustin Cox, representing trial staff.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. You're breaking up a little bit. If you could just make sure your microphone is
okay. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Just help our court reporter if we all have nice, clear diction.
Christine Roach for staff also. Sorry, I'm having a video issue.
Thank you, Ms. Roach. All right, I've got you down. Okay, just by way of background, let me just make a very brief record. I just want to reflect that the parties actually got together and came up with a proposed procedural schedule and dates for evidentiary hearing, which the commission is very pleased with. Thank you so much. That helps our work tremendously. However, when we looked at the proposed schedule a little more closely, commission staff and I realized that the deadlines were a little bit tight on our end. We need to allow at least 65 days post issuance of the recommended decision to allow time for exceptions and all that. And only having about 3 weeks between the proposed filing dates for the statements of position and the recommended decision was a little bit tighter than I could probably get out given the complexity of the issues raised herein. So I propose we either waive that Public Service agreed to waive the deadline altogether or move the deadlines forward. And the party said, no, these are the dates that they've come up with that work for everybody. So that's fine. As an alternative, Mr. Irby and the party suggested that we look into filing or making a finding that exceptional conditions exist warranting the further extension of the statutory timeline by an additional 130 days under CRS section 40-6-109.5 subsection 4, which does permit an additional 130 days, which would take us up till the end of September of 2024. However, that statute also mandates that we have a hearing at which evidence is presented showing the need for exceptional conditions, that in order to establish that exceptional conditions exist, warranting that additional extension of time. So I quickly called a pre-hearing conference yesterday, and I want to thank you again for all being here and making yourselves available on such short notice to be here today so that we can get this schedule finalized. First of all, does anybody have any comments regarding the summation I just gave? Anything needs to be corrected, or do I have it pretty much right?
Correct from my perspective, Your Honor.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Irby. Okay, I don't want to waste anyone's time. I know everybody's really busy. It's also a sunny Friday, so nobody wants to be sitting here too long. What I really need from the parties today are two things. One, let's quickly go over the procedural schedule as proposed. There's one point I just want to raise with the parties to make sure you're aware of it. And then if I could just get some grounds so that we can have a record made as to the exceptional conditions that exist herein and warrant this further extension. So with respect to the schedule first, I just want the parties to be aware that with respect to the evidentiary hearing dates, those are fine. They're mostly clear on the commission's calendars and on my calendars. However, one of the dates is a Wednesday, which falls on a commission weekly meeting date, and also the insurance show cause hearing. So if the parties are all right, what I will do is schedule the hearing that Wednesday from about 9 to 11:30. We'll have to take a break so that hearing room B can then be used for the insurance show cause hearing, and then we'd reconvene from 1:30 to 5 on that Wednesday. Is that acceptable with the parties?
That works for the company, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Irby. Mr. Dixon, does that work for UCA?
That works for the UCA. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Dixon. Mr. Cox, does that work for staff?
Yes, I believe that works for us as well.
Okay, so that's how I will schedule it. And just so you're aware, we'll have to have that 2-hour break on that Wednesday just to allow for that, the hearing room to be used for that other purpose. Okay, then turning to the question about the extraordinary conditions, I guess I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Irby, if you could go ahead and address that. I do want also the record to reflect that a finding of extraordinary conditions was recently made by Judge Mirbaba in proceeding number 23A-0394E, her decision number R23-0617, which was also a public service case. I assume that some of the same issues are at play in this proceeding as they were in that one. So I'm hoping that you can just quickly run us through that, Mr. Irby. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. You got where I was going first with the ALJ's recent decision in that proceeding. We think that a finding of extraordinary circumstances in this proceeding could likewise be made. And the bases here, as it was there, was the unusually high volume of other commission proceedings that many of the parties in this case are involved in, currently scheduled for a hearing or will be scheduled for a hearing in the coming months. Let me run through a series of those, and I'll give you some docket numbers as well to build the record here.
Thank you, Mr. And I'm going to ask you to give them to me slowly so that I can jot them down and make sure I've got them right so that I can put them in my decision. So
absolutely. Several examples of ongoing litigated cases that the company staff and UCA are all in right now. They're currently scheduled for hearing, which would occur before the scheduled hearing dates in this proceeding, are the company's distributed energy resource tariffs. And that's in proceeding 23A-0194E. The company's Pawnee conversion certificate of public convenience and necessity. That's proceeding 22A-0563E. A non-standard economic development rider proceeding. That's proceeding 23A-0330E. Public Service Company's Phase 2 electric rate case. That is proceeding number 23AL0243E. Public Service Company's Transportation Electrification Plan, which is proceeding 23A0242E. In addition to those dockets, the company and the parties in this case are also expending significant time and resources on two other major proceedings involving the company. Those are the company's Phase 2 electric resource plan. That is proceeding number 21A-0141E. and the company's clean heat plan, which is proceeding number 23A-0394EG. I could mention other cases that are pending before the proceeding that my colleagues are involved in, and some of which I understand you're involved in as well, Your Honor. But I'll pause there because those are the company's cases that we're all the parties here are trying to work around procedural schedules and litigated deadlines.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Irby. That helps tremendously. That is definitely a high volume of cases in the next few months. Mr. Dixon, did you want to add anything from the UCA's perspective as to why you believe extraordinary conditions exist in this matter? As I know that was kind of a stipulation between the parties, so all of you have agreed to that already.
Right. No, I have nothing really to add per se to what Mr. Irby said. I have a couple comments I would make. Your proposal to move the hearing back 2 to 3 weeks would fall right in the middle of the hearing scheduled for the Public Service Transportation Electrification Plan. I believe that case runs from January 8th through January 24th or so. So you would be right in the middle of that. And I can assure you the UCA and staff, and as well as the company and others are going to be directly involved in that case, which would pose a difficult conflict even with our attorneys and our staff people. I would
Mr.
also
Dixon,
say,
could you give me that proceeding number so I have it?
Yep. 23A-0242E.
23A-242E. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And that is the Public Service Transportation Electrification Plan proceeding. And then the other thing I'd like to suggest is that, as you've noted, Judge Murbaba made a finding already. I would suggest it would be appropriate for you to take administrative notice of her decision, which notes very much the same cases that Mr. Irby has referred to as a basis for the extraordinary circumstances that both you and Judge Murbaba are confronted with the same situation. And that's all I have. We certainly support Mr. Irby's recommendations and those of the other parties to go with the schedule we proposed, and have no objection to the adjustment for Wednesday to deal with your hearings on insurance show cause.
Perfect.
It'll be a nice lunch period. Ordinarily, we get about 45 minutes in these cases. So
yes, think of it as me being generous. How's that?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Mr. Cox, anything you want to add on the part of staff?
I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Roach.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Roach, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have really anything else to add. I'm either one of the attorneys on this proceeding or one of the staff members or both are on all of those proceedings. So we have it's kind of like a bottleneck of expertise trying to get through all of those. So staff is fully in support of the stipulation and also does not take any issue with the insurance proceeding that you mentioned taking a break for on Wednesday.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Roach. I think that's plenty of bases for granting the request for extraordinary conditions. I think it gives me plenty to write up the decision and go ahead and extend it up through the end of September. Definitely warranted in this proceeding, in my opinion, given everybody's plates are really full right now. So I will go ahead and issue a procedural order setting the procedural schedule, the evidentiary hearing pursuant to the dates and the schedule that the parties proposed, and the order will also extend the deadline by the additional 130 days. Just be forewarned, though, I've been warned, though, that if we do that, that is a very hard deadline and the commission absolutely cannot go past it in any way. I am hopeful, though, that with statements of positions in March, I mean, that should give us more than enough time to get things done. But as Ms. Roach noted, there's so many things going on. There is a bit of a bottleneck on our end as well. It's been a little bit like whack-a-mole lately. So
I would also point out that since the company is actually waiving the statute This is being done with no prejudice to the company. Ordinarily, the 250-day timelines are to benefit the utilities to ensure their case are completed in a timely manner. With the company agreeing to delay, there's no prejudice to the company in granting this request.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. I appreciate that. All right. Anything else from anybody else? Mr. Irby?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dixon? Okay.
Nothing
He's shaking
further,
his head
Your
no.
Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Roach or Mr. Cox, anything else?
Nothing from staff. Thank you.
All right. I think that's all we needed then. I will not take up any more of your time. I, again, greatly appreciate all of you convening on such short notice so that we could get this done and get the schedule going and the evidentiary hearing set on the commission's calendar, which fills up fast with all the things going on. So thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we are adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, Alika. I got my confidence back a little.
Mary, I truly, based on what Connor said, it sounds like it was a combination of between people mumbling and talking way too
Oh my
fast.
God. It was unbelievable. I was like, I just put my fingers off the machine and I hope to God it's on the tape. So we'll see.
Wow. And then bad microphone because of the owl. So
Yeah, something's bad with it that's not working at all. So it's been really making me feel like a little bit,
yeah.
but hanging in there. What else
Yeah.
can we
Well,
do?
you saw Harris's email about that, right? That
Yeah,
something's going on with the
yeah.
microphones in there anyway. So it's all a
Isn't
little
that
wonky.
weird? All of a sudden, we get back into it and something else goes wrong.
I think it's the universe telling us we need to stay home, Harriet.
I
I'm gonna tell-
know.
I'm gonna
I
tell
do.
Rebecca that.
It looks like I don't know. There is some agencies that have turned completely remote because my friend works for the nursing agency and they're completely
Really?
Yeah, a medical board. So who
I
knows?
just, the state would save so much money, honestly.
I know.
mean,
I know.
why spend all that money on the rent or ownership of all that space? For
I know.
what? Just so that we can get together once in a while and have a coffee? What?
It looks like the 25th changed, didn't it?
It did? What do you mean?
Well, I saw an email for a all hands meeting.
But then Jenny sent another one. Then she realized, because she sent a notice for the virtual all hands meeting, and then she sent another one a little bit later saying, oh, that is our all hands on deck in office day, so the meeting will be hybrid, but she's not sure how that's going to work yet.
Oh my God. All right. I might take the day off on
That is an
I'm not
option.
there. All right. I have transcripts to do. They want me to just sit there. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, you don't
all
need to
right.
do one for this. So
Okay, that's okay.
I think I got all the numbers. If
I
have
didn't mind doing it because I could hear everybody.
Oh.
I can do it right away if you want.
Oh, it sounds like a waste. I mean, the only thing I really need is the numbers, and I jotted them down, so I think I've got them all.
All right.
And-
Well,
and-
let
and
me
they're
know.
in- They're also in Melody's order, so I can
Okay.
just copy them.
It
From
sounds really getting busy.
Oh my God, I'm so busy. I've got literally